Hi, everybody. Dr. Charlton here. Today I'm going to be talking about website redesign. I know a lot of you are working on, for your project, you have ideas about how you can redo the website. At least some of you have those ideas. So I want to kind of cover the systems and processes that I go through when I'm redesigning a website. Hopefully, that will help some of you. And also, I'm going to discuss best practices for web design as we go through and look at actual examples of sites. So, first of all, we have this client, Mark First, for one of my classes. So I'm gonna look. They what they do is they provide services for people with Down syndrome and other mental disabilities, and so I'm gonna see what it would take to kind of find some new ideas and to find a new direction for a website overhaul for them. So first of all, I'm gonna just search for um, similar websites. My first job is to find some sites that I can use as kind of models, examples, so that I don't have to start from scratch. I'm not going to just rip off everybody's designs and all of their content, etc. But what I want to do is just get ideas for my website. So if I start from a blank slate and start from scratch, it's probably going to be pretty rough and old school looking. So I want to go ahead and start looking first at what other people are doing. So what I do is I'm going to do a search for ARC. So ARC is the acronym that all these organizations like Mark First used to use. It's Association of Retarded Citizens. And that's kind of out of style now because that's the R word, so you can't say that. So, but originally that's what it was. So I do a search for that. I find there is this website, thearc.org. And so as I go into this is actually a directory for similar websites to Mark First. So there's this, and that's typical, right? If it's a nonprofit, there's probably going to be, or even if it's like a plumber, whatever it is, there's a good chance there's going to be a directory for similar types of companies. So I'm going to just find a chapter, and I'm going to look at different groups and how they do it. I'm actually going to start local in Illinois, where I'm based currently. All right, so I have pulled up a set of organizations. These don't all have to be the exact same kind of organization. You can get ideas from a lot of different websites. A lot of times I just go to you know, if I want to do minimalism, if I want a minimalist look, I'll just go to the Apple website and see what they're doing and see how they're, you know, and get ideas from there. So it doesn't have to be the similar type of company. But in this case, I'm looking at similar companies just to kind of get started and see what all the other people are doing. So first of all, I'm going to see if any of them, if I like the names, and that's probably a good indication that they have their act together. Um, I like Avenues to Independence. That sounds cool. So I'll take a look at that. Visit their website. Oh, that looks terrible. This is terrible. So so let's talk about this website. So it looks like, maybe I should open this tab. Maybe that's not their actual site. This is their site, right? Wow. So this is like some kind of parking page. Like they've kind of haven't maintained this domain name and they're more using their other one, this is a really bad situation. They'd really want their website from that directory, their link to point to their actual page, which appears to be this. So let's take a look at this page and see if we get ideas here. So you notice it's a nice clean horizontal navigation element up here. They, these, a few things I'll point out. Number one, they have two different versions of their logo icon, which can kind of diminish your brand. You know, you notice this swoop is actually wider than this one down here, so you have some branding inconsistencies there. So that's something to consider. Um, in the navigation, you notice they have really long titles for each one of these nav elements, which can make it. Sometimes you have to do that; it's a trade-off. but this can make it difficult to navigate for somebody looking at this and reading all these long words. And also, if you consider horizontal nav, you're really limited space wise, so you run out of space for your stuff that you want. So it'd be really cool if you could find a way to shorten it. Like who we are could be about, programs and services could be, let's see, just programs or something. Events, news, this could be just news. Thrift shop, I don't know what the thrift shop. Oh, they have a thrift shop that they operate as part of their company's mission. So yeah, that's a long shop. And shop spelled out that way. Um, just to make it longer. I don't know. This could be volunteer. And then there are action verbs too, right? Because so it's like, volunteer, and it's more action oriented, and shorter. So contribute could be donate, just to make it more clear. You can see when you hover over it, it does show donation. But this is nice that when you do hover over this, it shows all these drop downs. But at the same time, it does make things complicated. If you notice when I'm over here at Get Involved, my drop down is way over on the left. So I have to like kind of travel over here. So it's, it'd be nice if my drop down links were like right there. But right below where I'm hovering, I guess, if that makes sense. And then you can see they have this secondary menu up here that has volunteer, which they already have volunteer right here. But they have volunteer again up here. Career opportunities. Um, a lot of times I'll put that in the information about the company. They'll have career opportunities, and then contact us. So they have this secondary menu, and I'm not sure that's the best thing. Sometimes it's good to have all that in one menu, um, unless it's like very much administrative type things that you really don't want in your main menu. And then we scroll down here, they have this other menu that's related to their main nav menu, but a little bit different. You can see it doesn't have the drop downs. It's just totally different. So they have a lot of different menus going on here, right? And they have different buttons: join the email list, get involved, contribute. It's really, um, this is really a challenging navigation, right? Because it's different. There's three different menus. You don't really know for sure what menu to look at. There's a lot of overlap between the menus, so it can kind of be a little bit difficult. And then contribute is a really vague word because that could mean volunteering, it could mean donating. It's really vague, but really they mean donations. So that'd be nice if they you know I guess they want to. So they include sponsorships in here as well as donations. So which is kind of really the same thing, but that's why they use the word contribute, I guess. So sometimes you have to do that. It's a trade-off. So now that we've talked about the navigation, let's talk about the design. So they do have the big hero banner right here. Actually, they have a double hero banner. They have this banner here that is like this weird background from some charity event, I'm assuming. But it's kind of, you can see like it was probably a cool event, and you see the numbers up here, maybe some kind of charity auction. It was probably a cool event, but this picture just looks junky, with this, it's kind of grayed out, and it's just like, I don't know. And then, our menu kind of covers it up completely. So let's see. Okay, they have another donation thing again here. So one of the issues is like with the website design is you're trying to get people to do the same thing in 16 different ways. It's really confusing for people. You need to make it more straightforward and not, it's like contribute. I mean the it'd be nice if the stuff that you want from the public could be like in one tab. It's like, you know get involved and donate or something, and then it could just have a page about all the things people could do. um, I don't know. I mean, somehow you need to figure out a way to organize this a little bit better for the people. But okay, so again, let's look at this. You have the hero banner. It's scrolling through, showing pictures. It's showing pictures of their um, people they provide services to. and that helps you get, because you see the recognizable, some of the disabilities, and it helps kind of visualize what it is they actually do. um, the hero banner is, like popular and cool in modern web design, but it really requires you to have top-notch, high-end photography, and a lot of organizations just don't have that photography, so it can kind of backfire going with a huge hero banner. The other thing about it to consider is you need to have something that is where you have a lot of background, because you're going to crop it really wide and not very tall to make it into a banner. So you can see how they've dealt with that here. Instead of taking this really wide picture with a lot of background, they added this, sort of like gradient type thing on it to make this picture bigger. This picture really ends right here, right? And so that's the thing with banners, is you want to get a photograph with a ton of background, because you're going to crop off all the top and bottom, and just, you're going to need a bunch of empty backgrounds type space over here, and maybe on the right as well, depending on how you have it laid out. So this, I guess, is these dashes are the navigation for these banners, so you can flip through these banners. And then you can't click. Oh, you can click on this link right here. So this is clickable, and it pops out a new link. So you don't want to open a new link typically on a website and ooh, I think I lost something important. Let's see if I can get back to where I was. That was weird. I don't even know what happened there. All right, so I'm back here. And let's see. Okay, let's see, what else can we talk about. So this is actually a cool design showing their new model of their facility. I'm assuming it's not really clear what that is, but it does look cool. It's a high-end, CAD type drawing. And then as I scroll down, it does have a lot of imagery. It's got nice photographs. And you can learn more about all these things, I guess. So typically on a homepage, it's going to summarize your whole site. So you want to call attention to the things that are most important, most interesting, most clicked on. Usually you can get data from that from Google Analytics. But let's just consider if we like this design. And I would say this design is okay, but I want to see if I can find something better in terms of. So I'm gonna hold on to this, but I'm gonna see if I can find something better that I like better. And it's just some of it, it's just personal preference, but I'm gonna look at Ups for Downs. That sounds like a cool one. Check out their website. This is what I really like this. So this whole thing is a hero image. It's really nice photography. And this is their actual customer, their actual people, I'm assuming. And it's so cool how the logo and the text here is all kind of on this image. And you can see how they've done this fade into blue up here, to allow the white logo and, links to like stand out, which is really nice. I really like this. This is what you see a lot in modern type website design, is like this huge hero image that kind of takes up. When I say a hero image, I mean this image is just huge, and it has the text on top of it. Now you have to be careful about it though, because the text can get lost, and you can see they have kind of, like this lettering on this shirt is probably white, but they've kind of, you can see they've grayed this image out a little bit, so there's no white to conflict with their, lettering. So they've altered the image a little bit. You have, um, their main nav right here. They do have a lot of like complicated nav elements. Like it could be a little more straightforward, but it just looks really nice. And I think when people get used to using the site, they might find it really convenient if they know exactly where to go to. But you can imagine there's probably ways to simplify this nav, and they may not be highlighting um, their most important things. So they've kind of lumped the donate button in there with the social media buttons, for example. You might want that to be separate. um, Get and give support. It's not sure if you're looking for volunteers. This is an interesting category because get and give support, you're not sure if they're looking for volunteers, donations. It looks like kind of everything. So everything is lumped together, whether you're seeking services or looking to help out. And so that's just a lot in one category. So, websites are all about categorizing things. So you want to have clean categories. They use a sans serif font. See how it doesn't have the tails? Now in their logo they have the tails, the serifs, which is their choice as far as their design. But modern web design usually follows this pattern, as you can see, of not using serifs and actually using upper and lowercase. This is all upper for these titles, but there are plenty of sites that do that, so it's not really out of the ordinary. But then as you scroll down, you can see they've centered a lot of stuff. A lot of modern web design will have things more left justified. A lot of modern design based on the Swiss school of design, which is a minimalist type design. A lot of times it'll be left justified, but you can do certain things centered. Certain headlines are okay to center. You just don't want to center like long blocks of text like this right here. Is kind of less standard for modern design. But having said that, you can, the rules are there just as kind of guidelines, but you don't have to adhere to the rules 100% as long as you keep to some basic rules. So a few basic rules are the grid format. Do you see how everything is organized in the nice clean grids? So you can imagine drawing lines around here, putting boxes, and you can see this follows a very clear grid pattern. You can see the grid pattern here. You can see the grid pattern here. So there is a recurrent grid pattern. Even this line implies a grid, between these two elements. And grids are very and they're very much, again, based on the Swiss school of design. They really help you to lay out your content in a way that allows people to easily jump from one thing to the other and find what they're looking for. Um, Again, they have the hero again here, hero image. They do use really good use of empty space, but you can see, at least on my machine, you can see this line goes all the way out to the edges. So there should be empty space around the sides, but could show up totally different on other machines. But that's the challenge with web design, right? Is it shows up different on different people's machines. But typically, you want empty space. We like empty space. It helps people kind of take into the content and not get overwhelmed. So empty space tends to be our friend. Now, one of the challenges you have with this having the logo and your navigation on this hero background is for every page, then they're either going to do a different design. So you can see they've switched to a different design. It's only the homepage that follows that style. Then we go in the other pages, they have this blue bar. All right. So the blue bar makes it much easier rather than having to have a hero image for every page that doesn't conflict with the white letters and stuff. Because you can imagine if there was like this guy's white shirt right here, you can imagine if he's right behind this logo, then you don't even know what this name of this website is, right? And so you can imagine trying to get for every single page a hero image that will look good with white letters on top of it. It'd be really hard, but they only had to do it for one page, the home page, and then the other ones they simplified and they just went with this white bar, which is really nice. And I recommend doing something like that as well. I really think this website is a good model for you. I like how when I am on a page of it, it is very simple. This is groups and clubs, and it has all the groups and clubs right here. This is very straightforward for people, I think. This text right here, I feel like is a little scrunched and a little short compared to how much space they have, but it's really, having empty space is better than having like just everything crammed in. Again, the grid pattern, nice clean, separation of elements. right here, and you can, very easily see which element you're clicking on as it's highlighted. This is called a hover element or a hover attribute. So when I hover over this link, it changes its form so that I can, basically see it better. And then let's see. Again, really nice photography. There's some good photography on this website. It's very touching, moving photography. The donate button, again, I would not stuff it up here with the social media. At least I'd offset it with a different color. But I do like their color scheme. Blue and orange are actually complementary colors, so they're on opposite sides of the color wheel. Um, so if I do Let me do a Google search for a color wheel, see if I can show you what I mean. All right. So if I have this color wheel right here, you can see blue is opposite of orange, basically. So, in some, there might be more obvious. Yeah, like blue is kind of opposite of orange, depending on what kind of blue you have. And so they're using complementary colors, um, meaning they're opposites on the color wheel. So you'd have like green and red is a really bad combination of complementary colors, but like you have purple and yellow, it really stands out, really pops. You use your complementary colors. So that's something to think about. You got to be careful with it too, because it can be purple and yellow. It's kind of burny looking or something. You can also do like, it doesn't have to be exactly across, do purple and orange or purple and like this greenish, just, but they really stand out because they have this high contrast, right? So complementary colors. Again, this is just like, modern design. It's like bold colors, blocky. You can see the blockiness of it, the gridded layout. Even down here they have the gridded layout. This implies a grid because you have this element, then you have the logo, then you have everything is gridded, right? And this line really, I think, does add and imply this grid kind of format. Always lay your website out in a grid pattern. Um, and let's see. Yeah, I really think, so I would find a few more websites, but this website, I really personally like it. It adheres to a lot of modern design best practices. It looks nice, it looks clean, it's appealing. So I might just, kind of model off of this one. But at the same time, I don't want to copy, I don't want to steal their stuff. So it's like this is just one element of inspiration. So I'm going to find some others and kind of go with that. But for our purposes today, because I want to keep going with this and not spend all day on Google just looking at websites. So I'm going to go to my next phase, which is kind of developing it. I'm going to use a tool. I'm going to use a tool called Gravit. There are so many different web design or design type tools. Gravit is a graphic design tool that I use frequently. I've used it consistently for about the past 6 years. I switched away from Adobe Illustrator back then just because I found it to be, I used Adobe Illustrator all day, every day for years and years, but not all day, but a lot. I used it, but I switched away because I found it to be just complicated. It just ended up being so many steps to do something. And so I wanted a simpler tool. Maybe doesn't have quite the features, but the main things you can do very fast. And so that's why I kind of use Gravit. You can use whatever software that you want. XD is a really popular one for web design nowadays. Again, this is a graphic design tool. So I'm kind of double dipping here because I'm showing you graphic design, how to do some graphic design and how to do some web design. But let me take a look at this website here again. So you have this banner, and you have blocks, you have the hero image. I'm going to go ahead and start with the designing a page rather than doing the home page. That's just because all the pages are going to reflect this layout except for the one home page. And one thing I've found is like a lot of people don't even enter the website through the homepage. Some people never even see the homepage when they're visiting a website. And what you're really interested in is the content. So I like to start with the content page, and that's just how I do it. And then most of the content pages should be relatively similar. If I click on one of these other pages, it looks like this drops the hero banner, but it does keep the same nav bar up here, and all this stuff down here is the same. So anyway, so that's how that. So let me first I'm gonna get a logo. So I'm gonna go to my first website. Hopefully I can get their logo without too much difficulty. So I'll try to copy the image. If I can't do that, then I can do like a screen grab type thing. But that's okay for a mock-up, but you wouldn't want to do much with that besides just mocking something up because it loses resolution, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. It would lose resolution. This logo has a white background and it has a lot of colors, and I don't think I want to get away from a white background. So rather than doing this kind of website, I'm probably going to be flipping. I'm probably going to be stuck doing a white background. You can imagine how this logo would, yeah, I mean, with all this blue around it, that kind of looks terrible, right? In the current website, because they have this white background logo and then it's like goes into this crazy colorful thing. So really you're gonna have to you know like have the background colors be consistent. But I do want to bring some color on. I want to bring in a hero image. So you want to look for royalty-free photography that's free. So I often use a page called Unsplash, a website called Unsplash, the internet's source of freely usable images powered by creators everywhere. So I want to do get a hero image. So I'm gonna search. I'm gonna just do a search for Down syndrome. See if I can find anything. Um, Okay, yeah, there's some great stuff in here. This is the same guy, and I'm guessing that everybody, because these pictures are free, so you probably see this stuff a lot all over the internet, right? Because Unsplash is a popular website, so really, this is okay for a mock-up, but you probably want to get something more original for your um, actual website, if that makes sense. Because you're going to see this everywhere. And as soon as I add it to the site, as soon as you start using it, then you'll notice it like everywhere. So I'm going to try to place this image right here. Okay, so I just dragged it onto my screen here. It's just taking a minute to load it up. There we go. Because it's kind of a high definition image. I'm gonna zoom out so that I can shrink this picture down. And this is going to be kind of a hero banner type thing. So I'm going to have to crop it as well, right? So let me zoom back in. Get my little hand tool. See my hand tool? Drag that. Go back to my zoom. Hand tool. Okay, that's about. All right, so this is about the right width of website. You can imagine, and maybe even a little. I might make it a little bit even narrower. So I'll shrink this just a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the kind of width of my website. You can notice though this hero banner is actually way too small, so I'm going to crop it. So I click on the image and then I go over here to my crop tool, and then I tweak it right here. And then I click twice outside of it, and then there's two different select arrows. This select arrow can like select elements of it, and I just want the pointer. So that's subselect. So if I use subselect, I can like even drag around this crop thing type thing, but I'm gonna control Z that and undo it, and I'm gonna get out and actually use my regular pointer, because that regular pointer will just grab the whole element, and that's what I want. I want to position it. All right, so now I have my hero banner. Looks pretty good. I got my logo. And again, I'm just kind of forced into doing this white bar up here of navigation because the logo is only going to really look good on white background, and it's a tragedy to go from this white logo to totally different design. It just looks so like hacked in, like an afterthought. We don't want our logo to be an afterthought. We want it to be integrated with the site. So I'm kind of forced into this. So I'm going to get create. I just dropped in a text box. You can see I grabbed that T right there, dropped in a text box, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of design what my navigation's going to look like. I'm going to make it very minimalist because I mean, it's a white background. Buttons on a white background might look kind of weird. So I'm just going to do, these are just going to be just words. Let me look back. This could be a good chance for me to replan the navigation, but I'm not going to take the time to do that just because I want to keep this thing going. So I'm just going to say like, so I don't know if you realize this, but if you typically on a website, if you click on the logo, you go to the homepage. But a lot of people don't know that, so sometimes you just have to add a homepage here. And then I'm gonna do a bunch of spaces, and then I'm gonna go. I did 6 spaces. I should really keep that consistent. And then I'm gonna do. Actually, you don't want to keep the spaces consistent. You really want to keep the width of each button consistent, like this. See how each button is maybe a consistent width. I don't know, but that's the idea. Home. Yeah, I'm just gonna add a bunch of links in here. I'm not putting a lot of thought into what links these are because I'm focusing on just design. All right, so I don't have a lot of links here. I would love to have more because this is very wide, but I don't have too many. Like if I have too many, like if I have 15, then it's just like hard for people to really take it in. So maybe this is okay. I could probably make this a bigger font. I well, I'll just say I want to. I don't have to do anything. I mean, this is flexible, right? So each website is kind of different in its own way. Okay, so just want to get my spacing right. I want like plenty of spacing from the logo. Actually, I want to bump this logo up too, give it a little more white space below it. All right, so yeah, so there you go. I've got some nav going on. I could bold these. I could change the color a little bit. Maybe I'll give my dropper and maybe I'll grab this blue right here. And then but you notice it looks really dark on these big letters, but it looks really light on thinner letters. So what I'll often do is just darken it a little bit if it's on thinner letters versus a big solid background. Um, so that's just an effect. It's just a visual effect. So when there's just more white around it, it just looks a lot lighter. It's the difference between. Let me just show you really quick. Like if I have this big rectangle and the color is this blue, that's one thing. And then if I go to do a line right here, and I want to do the color same blue. So it looks a lot lighter, but it's really the exact same color. See how it's on top of it, but you can't see it. But when it's over here, it just looks lighter when it's a thinner kind of shape. And I could go back to black. Black could be okay, but I like this kind of darker blue. And then I have the orange here and the green. So if I'm thinking like I'm gonna put a button up here, and I'm probably gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna grab a shape. So I'm gonna go to this down arrow right here, get a rectangle. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my rectangle tool here, and I'm gonna make like a donate button. So I'm just gonna, just like put it maybe right here for now. I'm gonna move it probably, but just start right there. I'm gonna match the color to their orange. That looks good for a donate button. And then see how I'm kind of matching the color scheme incorporating these other elements. So then I'm probably gonna do a donate in like a white color. Sorry. So actually, this is the color of the letter. So let me, I want to recolor this box. So let me make sure I have the box selected. Okay, so I'm going to go with a white. Sorry, I'm getting all confused here. I actually want the letters to be white. I don't know what. There's some weird element here that's distracting me. I don't know what that is. I think that's just need to like refresh my screen or something. I don't think there's actually an element right there. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do with the donate is I'm going to center that vertically and horizontally, and then I'm going to select both of these elements, and then I'm going to align them center align right here. So that just makes sure they're lined up. So like imagine if I was kind of like not sure it's like in the middle, and then I can just select them both and align them. It's a really handy feature. Okay, and then it's kind of doesn't stand out quite enough. So I'm going to make it bold and see if that helps. And then I'm going to probably go up to a 24 font. Okay, there we go. So that's okay. It's decent. This is just a start, you know. This isn't not going to be a finished product when I'm done with this video. Sorry to disappoint, but it's just kind of a start. And I do have this weird black thing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save it and see if I can get rid of that. So I'm going to save this as I was typing in the wrong box. Save it. See if that refreshes it and fixes that error. The thing I really like about this tool is I can use it on any browser. You can see I have all my files saved. So I can access it from any browser, any machine that I want to. I really like that. I don't like being like, oh, that file's on my work machine. So then I have to wait till tomorrow or get on VPN to connect or whatever. It's just like, oh, you know. So let's see. So how are we doing here? I think we have some space for like some social media icons, and maybe I'll tack those on. I think I would like to see some social media icons actually with a white background. So let me see what social media they actually use, first of all. Looks like they use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. They have a lot. I'm not going to use all those. I'm going to do Instagram. Instagram logo with a white background. Instagram does have like all these social media, they have like guidelines for how you can use their icons, etc. And there's a lot of considerations to make. But in my case, I'm just trying to show you really quickly how you can do a website mockup. So I'm not being as careful with all that kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of grabbing what I can and just I don't even know whose this is. I would hesitate to like steal somebody's work or whatever, but I'm just doing a quick mock-up here. So Instagram, that's not really a recognizable Instagram. So let me see if I can do let me get a Twitter to go with it and see if that helps. Twitter logo. I think I'm gonna do I'm trying to find one that has a white background. So I'm just gonna do this Twitter right here. I'm hoping that if I have multiples next to each other, it'll be more obvious that it's kind of a social media. And then people can just like click on that if they want to. It'll be subtle, but make that a little smaller. The other thing I like about this tool, as opposed to Illustrator, is Illustrator by default will mess up the aspect ratio. So if I try to resize this and drag here, it will make it all wonky. Like it'll make it too tall, too wide, and kind of smash the picture unless you hold down control while you're dragging it. But the other programs like this program and a lot of other better programs, they don't mess up your aspect ratio by default. It's also really convenient to output files from here. And I think if you get the free version of Gravit, you can only output as a PDF. Or you could also just do a screen grab of this. So if I do a screen grab, really how to do it depends on what kind of computer you're using. I have a Mac here, but I have a Windows keyboard. So I just know I hold down this Windows button and Shift and the 4, and then I can do a screen grab. But for your machine, it's probably different. So, but I just take a screen grab of this and you can turn that in or use that as a mockup, or you can, export it. I think it will only let you export as PDF if you use the free version. I have the $49 a year version. So I'm big time now. I'm a big spender. All right, so let's see. We have two social icons. We probably want to add Facebook. So I'm going to see if I can get that too. And I really want like the black F. And you can see there on Google that it has like this transparent background, which is super convenient. So I'm going to add that. I apologize if you hear any kid noises in the background. I am working from home due to coronavirus, due to the quarantine. I'm grateful I can work from home, but some of my kids really just want me to play. My 1-year-old, for example, is banging on my door right now and he's unclear why I am not just playing with him and why I'm wasting my time doing this stuff. So, just a heads up about that. All right, let's see. Okay, so I got some social icons there. I got my donate button, got my links. All right, so now that I have my donate button, my social icons, my menu, my logo, and my hero image, a lot of times the point of the hero is there should be like some text over it. So I'm gonna just go ahead and see what is some text they have on here. So I'm probably gonna borrow from one of these. Human services matter to all of us. I'm just gonna do that. And this is gonna be like really big text. Like this is gonna be bigger than the menu. A lot of people would capitalize all these letters or capitalize the first part of every word. I like to use a lot of lowercase. That's just my personal style, but it's kind of up to you. So I'm going to select that whole thing and I'm going to make it much bigger font. I'm going to go with 60. I'm going to go with bigger. I'm going to go with 72. That's still a little small. I'm just going to type in 90 and see what that looks like. Okay. So I probably want to do white on this hero background. So again, I'm going to do the color right here. So I got to collect this. I got to click on this circle and go push it to 0. And that's decent. I'm going to smash it a little bit so it's more over here. Smash it a little more. See, what else can I do? else? So it's just like over his face, which I don't love that. So I can get my sub select arrow and kind of see if I can tweak this picture a bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I'm actually gonna probably grow this a little bit. And then I'm gonna go back to the sub select. And then I'm gonna crop it back to here. I don't know. I don't know. Now he has like this giant head. So I don't know if that was the solution. Maybe I could try going the other way. Just trying to make my lettering look good on this picture, right? And that's my goal. So I'm gonna get my sub select. No, actually I'm gonna probably shrink this. And then I'm gonna get my sub select so that I can readjust this crop. So yeah, then I run out of image. See? I don't know. Maybe this just isn't the right image for this. So let's see. Maybe I don't want the letters on top of this image just because if it doesn't fit, it's not a fit, you know? I would love to have a hero image where I could put the letters on it comfortably and feel good about how it looks. But the other thing is I could do like a color box right here. We'll see how that looks. We'll just try it. If it looks terrible, I can adjust. So I'm just gonna click. Just eyeballing this, but obviously I can zoom in and make sure things are lined up. Give my hand, and then get this again. Let's see. There we go, and it clicked to line it up automatically for me, which is nice. And then move this rectangle down to basically the bottom so that the lettering can be on top of it. Now I'm gonna zoom out. Okay. Now I'm gonna make that bigger. Okay, my rectangle's on the bottom, isn't it? I just put it there. I don't know if that was the best. It should be right here probably. There we go. And then I kind of want this, yeah, I don't know. I could flip this, like mirror it, but then his lettering on his hat would be backwards. You know, because like I almost want this guy over here, but like I said, that would make him backwards. So let me see where we're at with this. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Could go this smaller. 65. And then I can make these. I could change the color of this background box to kind of match this. Maybe I will do that. We'll see how that looks. And then I can make these letters stand out a little bit more by adding a drop shadow. So what I want to do is so I can adjust the X here. So if I put 50 here, you can see the letters are shifted way to the right. And if I put 50 for Y, you can see the letters are shifted way down. I don't want to do that, but I'm just trying to show you what the offset does in an obvious way. So I'm going to change it back to 5 and see what that does for me. There we go. All right. Now, let's see. This, I kind of don't like the just flatness of this. Flat is good. Like I like this flat donate button, but up here it kind of looks just really flat. So I don't know if there's something I can put on there, like some kind of image type thing that I can just put just to have a little bit of texture there. I might like that. I'm also gonna decrease the drop shadow length. But you can see how it's just like really kind of flat and generic. So, and it's pretty dark too. I might lighten it a little bit and maybe redden it a little bit. There we go. I don't know. Okay. So again, I might try to find some kind of pattern here. So if I just do a search for like, again, any image you use, you really want to make sure that you have, that you're able to use it. Like it's not, um, illegal or, like not stolen. But I'm just doing a quick mock up here. So I'm just grabbing stuff that's available. This, I thought this had a transparent background, but it doesn't. So let's see if I could find, just want some kind of pattern to put on there to break that up a little bit. I don't see, these are all like stock footage that you have to buy and stuff. Um, I'm just gonna do a Google search for free texture backgrounds. And let me see if there's some that I recognize here. Well, of course, Unsplash, I was just showing you. Pixabay and FreePic are not the best. I'm trying to see if there's one that I've used that I do trust. It's always changing which ones are kind of available. This is just from some article in Smashing Design. Maybe it will give some ideas. Wool textures. I'm gonna get this crumpled paper bag. Not because this is like the best web design ever, but just to show you how to do it, honestly. I'm just gonna drag it on there. And you can see one problem I have is I'm gonna have to stretch this because it is not big enough. Whenever you stretch things, you kind of lose resolution and they end up looking junky. This looks okay, so maybe it will be okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna move that behind the text. And then I'm gonna put a gradient on it. So, because I don't really want it to overpower I want the rectangle color that I put there to stand out a little bit. So I'm gonna go to opacity, actually, not gradient. I'm gonna go up here to see opacity right up here. I'm gonna make it semi-transparent. So I'm gonna make it actually 25% visible. Just something to add a little bit of texture there. It just did seem like just this big blank box, So I added a little bit of texture there. And let's see about this guy. And can also I can also shift this guy a little bit. Okay. All right. So I don't know. We're getting there. I'm still not there. I want to bring this down a little bit. Kind of center their faces on this. All right. So that's that. And I'm gonna go look at my example website again, ups for downs, and back to one of the hero images, which is kind of what I'm modeling. So you can see they have this nav thing right there. So I could do that. I'm doing a little different. I don't know how much I'm really modeling after this, but I need to model after kind of like these kinds of elements. So this is really ideally this would be the full menu. This full menu would match this full menu up here, and I think it does. It's just like kind of in a different order. But so I might want to, I don't know what I'm going to do. Holy cow. I'm just going to copy this and paste it just because I don't want you to have to sit here while I mock this whole thing up. So I'm just going to paste this on here. This is not how you do it, but it's not how you do it. But I don't want you to have to watch me like creating every single one of these elements. I could show you how I'd create some of them, but all right, what happened to it? It's gone. Where did it go? Oh, I see. So for some reason I put a mask on it and I didn't want to. So I'm gonna see if I can do Control Z and undo that. Because I have my sub select tool, so it's automatically putting a mask on. I want my pointer tool. So it's pretty straightforward to kind of create this type thing. So I am just, basically just make a colored box, and I'm gonna recolor this. I'm gonna try to recolor this a little bit. So color adjust. I'm gonna change. We'll see. It's hard to recolor black, but I might be able to if it's not quite fully black. It's just solid gray, so there's no real color to it. So all I can do is make it more or less gray with that tool. But I mean, you could see how I would grid it out. I would. I'll show you really quick right here. Make a box. I'll create a text box. I'm gonna do like. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this several times. I guess I want like 4 of these, right? So I'm gonna pull them all apart. I'm gonna kind of get, and what I'm gonna do, I want the spacing to be consistent. So I'm gonna select them all, and I'm gonna go up here to my distribution tool, distribute horizontally, click on that, and then they're all evenly spaced. And then one other issue I may have is oh yeah, they're not aligned vertically. So I'm gonna come up here to my top align, click on that, and now they're all lined up nice and neat. Now I don't have quite enough space around them, like not enough empty gray space. So I'm probably gonna actually readjust and move this in here like that. So I have some space. And then I'm gonna kind of move this guy in here. All right, and then I'm gonna, once again, select them all. And instead of aligning the top, this time I guess I'll align the bottom, right? Because I want to push those guys down. And then I want to distribute horizontally. So that's how I would get everything all lined up like that. And sometimes when you're playing around and adding all the content, you can get kind of bumped off out of place. But you can just go back up to those tools and, and redo. I'm making it bold. I'm making the font bigger for this headline right here. Okay, and then I'm going to probably bring a color in right here. So we have that kind of blue mark first text. So I'm probably going to steal that color just for consistency. I'm gonna underline these. Okay, so anyway, I'm just, and then I would probably copy after I kind of style it, then I would copy. Because now I'm going to have to go back and redo all these other ones. But that's basically how I would do that. But for now, I'm just going to keep theirs down here, and I'm going to add in some text in the middle type of thing. Ups for downs. They just have, this is just the content. So you're going to want a title, some text, and some images. So I'm going to lay out what I would like that to look like using kind of a grid pattern. All right, so give myself a little more space here. All right, so let's consider what this grid pattern would look like. I want a title. Start with the title. So I'm gonna get a text box. I'm gonna put my content over here. And I'm gonna do like title, text, text. You can actually get text from a lorem generator. A lot of times that's what we use for mockups. Excuse me. So I can just, generate lorem ipsum. This is just Latin, and this is actually gibberish. This is not like good Latin, and it's just for filler. So I'm gonna go ahead and add it right here. And then I'm gonna restyle my title so it'll be much bigger and bolder. And I could maybe redo the color. Let me see how they do it. They actually do have a color here, but you don't want it to be confused with a link, right? So that's the thing to consider. So like color is good, but you don't want it to look like a link if it's not a link. So I'm gonna go ahead and again get this color, and hopefully it won't look like a link. If it does, I'll have to redo it. Maybe if I add a link in here, then that will kind of show the difference. So I'm gonna do this. And again, I'm gonna do this. This is my link color, and I'm gonna underline it. You can see how they kind of do look really similar, but it's not underlined. Another option I have is I could just do gray. That way it's like clearly not a link. And then I want to have some kind of image over here that goes along with this content. So I have the hero banner. Now I'm going to get, and again, I'm going to rely on kind of the grid pattern. So I'm going to do like 4 images, grid pattern, or 6 maybe, 4 or 6, I don't know. Just a mock up here. So let's see. I'm just going to do a search for like faces, and I'm just going to see what I come up with. And I'm going to just find regular looking people, hopefully, and not like pictures that look overly unnatural. I want to find like natural looking faces. So that can be hard sometimes to find in stock photography because everything's just like way overdone. All right, I'm just gonna get these faces then because it's what's available right now, and I want to get this done. So if I hold my shift, okay, so I'm gonna do a screen grab. I'm trying to keep it square. Save to clipboard. Paste it. no idea where that picture went. There it is. Somehow it ended up way up there. I guess that's probably the middle of my artboard and I just didn't realize it. So I probably should be designing up there. Let's get that picture. Let me see what's next. This guy looks like pretty normal, hopefully. I'm actually gonna have to go into that because it's showing stuff over his picture that I want. Okay. So again, I was saying I want these square. So if I look up here, this is 239 width by 204 height. So maybe I'll try to get them all like 200 by 200. So I'm going to crop it so that it is 200 by 200, hopefully. You can see you can see in my upper right corner of my screen as I am over it, it's adjusting the size. So I'm shooting for, again, 200 by 200. I have to really zoom in, honestly, to like get it perfect. Let's see, I want to do same thing for this guy. Okay, the other thing I could do is just like put them all on top. I have the wrong selector arrow. I can just eyeball it for now. This is just a mock-up. All right. I keep having the wrong arrow. I really want to have my pointer arrow, but I keep ending up with my sub-selector arrow. So that's why I'm having difficulty there. You can see, so I've got the width right. The width is consistent, but not the height. So let me try again with the crop. That's close. Anyway, I would lay this out in a grid pattern, put a couple more images here, and this could be like, who we serve or whatever. And I'm just gonna copy these because I'm just trying to mock it up really. Oops. When I do copy them, I want to make sure I have my pointer, not my sub-select. I keep getting in trouble by having the sub-select, and I really want my selector pointer. But so ideally I would have different pictures, of course, and maybe I will get some other pictures. Let me see. Let me go ahead and drop those in. Just trying to find some regular looking people, or as close as I can get. If you do have regular people in your web design, it does make it look much more authentic, as opposed to like fancy models. It's just something to consider. There's definitely a place for both, right? Depending on, like if you're Nike, you definitely want to bring your A game. But at the same time, one thing that Nike has started doing more and more to be more authentic is to use just use athletes and not as much models in their advertising. And that's actually worked pretty well for them. So that's something to consider. All All right, so you can see how when I have that grid layout pattern, it does look nice and clean, but I want everything to be gridded. So I'm gonna scoot this over here so it's like on kind of the edge here. All right, and then I'm gonna lengthen this out. I want a little more white space actually. Okay, so yeah, so nice grid. So this is doing web design, right? I'm using a tool called Gravit, which is a graphic design tool. You can use XD, you can use whatever tool you want, Adobe Illustrator. I like this tool just because it's really simple and easy. And I like to keep things pretty simple. So that's my kind of web design tutorial. Definitely hit me up if you have any questions. Please feel free to check out this tool, see if it works for you, and see if you could do a website mockup in it that could be good for your project. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for listening.